everybody, and welcome back to Guys on Gaffr, and Happy New Year to you all. It is good to be back. We have not podded for a good long while. We've had a nice Christmas and New Year break, but game week 29 is soon upon us, and it's a big back game week, and we've got a lot to discuss. A lot has happened since we've last podded. Abhishek is with me. David is on a ski holiday, so he is not with us today. But how are you, Abhishek? Have you had a nice kind of festive period? Have you had an enjoyable time?
Yeah, had a nice festive period. Drunk, ate some nice Christmas cakes made by my mother. So happy days. Didn't have to buy any cakes, so which was a nice change from every year. And on 31st, we treated to some nice noisy noisy firecrackers, which ruptured my sleep. But apart from that, enjoyed the break, which was needed, I think, for every one of us. And happy New Year to everyone, and to you as well. And yeah, a lot has happened. FA Cup has put us quite a spanner in our fixture list. We're gonna talk about that much more. And yeah, that's it.
Bro, so yeah, that's going to be the main focus of our discussion today. What lies ahead with Blank Game Week 29. I feel like it's been more carnage this year than last year, in the sense that I think maybe there are a few more shocks and more championship teams going out earlier last year, and there were not quite so many blanks. Maybe more like 6 or 7 games on, but as you'll see, there's fewer than that on this time. But first, obviously it's been a long time since we have had an update in terms of how our teams are doing. But let's go through our scores. My team is up first today. And let's just see where we're ranked now after a good number of game weeks. There were 4 game weeks in the space of 10 days over the festive period, which was crazy for the players, I imagine. But yeah, I got 105 points in game week 26. I've had an up and down time of it. I think last time we podded, I was on a bit of a red arrow run after the budget buster disaster. And then pulled it back with 3 greens in a row, up to overall rank of 69 now. So I've kind of almost made up that drop and got back to where I was before. So I'm very pleased with that. I had Flaherty in goal, that was helpful. My double Southampton defence has been doing quite well for me, getting Howard Bellis in. I even got a cheeky assist from him in one of the games, which is a nice bit of positive variance for me there. A midfield with a very strong showing. Somerville captain for 12 up to 24. Schmodix and Mavididi both got 10. And then Clark got 11 points up to 16 as vice. So that was really nice. Solid stuff from all of them. Armstrong 11, Broadhead 5, and Whitaker has been absolutely smashing it. 13 points. The only week he didn't smash it was, when I played Budget Buster on him, but not bitter at all. Lots of pension points for lots of people this week as well, with Dewsbury Hall no show. I brought in Clark Salter for Sanderson because I basically thought Leif Davis was not going to make it, and I didn't want to have Sanderson away to Leeds. In theory, I think I should have rolled the transfer because of this carnage coming up, and had 2 free transfers going into game week 27, because in the end both Sanderson and Clark Salter got 1 point, I think, so it didn't really work out, although Clark Salter does play in 29, which certainly helps, and Sanderson may not, we'll see. So yeah, I've been making good progress, particularly the last 3 game weeks, and I'm hoping to kind of push on from here with 1 boost left. As for you, Abhishek, there is your team. How's things going?
Yeah, I think the thing is that you had horrible budget buster, but since then the 4 game weeks that you have crop up the table. But I had a decent amount of haul in the budget buster in 2020 in game week 22, but since then I have been on a 4-week red arrow. I mean, I scored 93 points on game week 26, but still got a red arrow because it was such a high scoring game week. If you score 100 or less, you're getting a red arrow. You have to score 100 to get a gray arrow, and beyond 100 you are getting a green arrow. Last time I checked, because everybody scored whatever template players that everybody had. Everyone scored, from be it a be it midfield players, be it forward players, be it defenders. I mean, Ricardo is scoring. Ricardo is owned by a lot of people. NG has scored as well. NG is owned
Oh,
by
I
a
couldn't
lot
believe
of
that one.
people. Yeah. So a lot of defenders scoring. Somerville is a template guy. Armstrong is also a template guy. Daniel James is also a template guy. Mavididi has become a template guy as well, and Clark is also. So it's basically a high scoring week, and I scored 93 points thanks to NG, Ricardo, Somerville, Armstrong, Rowe. Got a cheeky bench point from Broadhead as well, cheeky assist from Broadhead as well.
I think
Oh,
that's
not assist, he got
just bonus.
performance bonus.
Hmm.
Yeah, weird. And I mean, I was expecting Southampton to keep a clean sheet, but they concede uh, pretty much uh, in the second half. And I think in the last moments they conceded, which was
Mm.
weird.
It's frustrating for me.
My Yeah,
It's
Twine.
double.
My transfer in was Twine. He did score a penalty, but he did not play a full 90 game. That's why I only got 3 points.
Come off the
And
bench
he,
and he got
yeah,
booked.
came off the bench, got booked, scored a penalty.
Eventual.
Oh God! I mean, yeah. So that was my team on Game Week 26. I, as I said earlier, I'm on a bit of 4 week Red Arrow week, Red Arrow run. I'm dropped down to 658 overall from 370th, which was after the
Ouch.
budget buster, which was played on Game Week 22. Yeah, I mean, I can't falter because out of the 4 weeks, three of them were stupid captaincy choices that I made, which didn't do anything. Uh, mm, Apart from performance bonus, and I was trying to be a bit cheeky there.
Did you put a vice
Lost bit.
captaincy on Sam Greenwood or something one of the weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one that's not
Because
quite worked out, has it?
yeah, I mean, Middlesbrough played Rotherham and
Yeah, yeah.
they didn't do anything.
Mm,
It was understandable, but yeah, they didn't do anything. And add to that, Armstrong got two assists.
yeah.
my he was my emergency. So
So basically,
uh,
your
uh,
punts just haven't quite worked out. I guess that's the
yeah,
difference with your kind of Greenwood and your Twine and stuff. I guess.
yeah. I
Mm,
mean, that's the only thing. And I think on after the budget buster week on Game Week 23, I put the captaincy on Dewsbury Hall, and he didn't do anything. But the consensus was to put everyone on Somerville on the Leeds players. I got a bit different by going with Leicester players, so it did not work. So that's why I
mm,
think a few choices here and there could have been better.
mm.
But yeah, time to full focus on the next 4 game weeks and the last boost that is in on play, and then
Yeah.
assess on the rest of the third part. So, because
Cool.
after game 20, I think after game 30, the boost resets. So yeah, hopefully I can finish on a high.
Cool.
Yeah.
In terms of David, so he got 97 points. What are his highlights? So he had Ampadu at the back with 6. Somerville captain, Rowe, Mavididi, Azaz with a nice 11 pointer. He's of course now gone to Middlesbrough on a permanent deal, interestingly. Also, David did give us permission to take the mickey out of him. He brought in
Yeah.
Patson Daka and vice captained him. But he's gone to AFCON. So that was not the best decision on David's part. It must be said. But he did get Adam Armstrong as his emergency captain, so that's not too bad. He got an extra 5 points from him there, so that was an okay result. And he is 153rd, so a small red arrow with his 97 pointer last week. He's doing all right.
Mm.
But he's played all his boosts though, so he doesn't have any boosts left. So we'll see how the rest pans out for him. Yeah, and that's that. Do you want to just read out, Abhishek, your AFCON bit before we go into Game Week 29? Just tell
Eh,
us who is missing from AFCON.
yeah. Hold on. Let me out. Where was the slide that I made? Where was okay. Yeah, I think the majority players, or the majority club that is going to be affected most, I think, is Middlesbrough and Leicester to some extent, because as I think from Middlesbrough, I think four players are going: Silvera, McGree, and where is Dieng as well. The three key important players for them.
Hmm.
They are going. Leicester as well. I think Patson Daka, Inacho is going as well. As Suter is going, who plays for Leicester, but he predominantly is a face on the bench. West Brom will miss the services of Diangana and Ajayi, who has been Diangana, especially Diangana, because he has been scoring the goals. Hull will miss the likes of Seri and Adama Traore. Huddersfield will miss Charles Ondo. Stoke will miss Chouamadu. And Watford will miss Kayembe and who is there? No, one player only from Watford. Southampton will miss Aribo. Ipswich will miss Burgess and Bagot, two defensive players. Cardiff will miss Abu Adams. Gambia has announced his squad, so Abu Adams is there. So Cardiff will miss him. And I think the only one that is left is Huddersfield will also miss Yuki Nakayama, who is going to Asian Cup with Japan. So these are the players that is going to be missing for AFCON and Asia Cup. I think five up to 4 or 5 game weeks they are going to miss. And
Yeah.
the main ones, I think, in terms of uh, effectiveness or the popular features on the club is Iheanacho, likes of Dhaka Iheanacho, who has been scoring goals for them. Grady Diangana for West Brom. Yes, Dieng for Middlesbrough. But Glover can be a decent backup. I think he's 4 million. So a lot of budget busters who are looking to play budget buster managers, he can be another decent option in goal for your budget picks. I think he's 4 or 4.5. I might make a mistake here,
Not sure. Not sure.
but he is a budget goalkeeper, and Middlesbrough has some decent fixtures. Yeah, so these are the players that are going to miss the AFCON. I think Kayembe, Watford. We have not talked about Watford a bit, but Watford has slightly uh, been playing decent football. So Kayembe has been instrumental for them as well, playing in the middle of the park. So he will be a big miss for them as well. So yeah, these are the guys that are going to miss. But the Borough duo of Sam Silvera, Borough trio of Silvera, McGree, and Dieng will be the most missed by Middlesbrough.
And there was
They have been,
also was it Morsey of Ipswich who just refused to go, which is
yeah,
a poor
he has
show. Really,
been,
you should be representing your country in these big tournaments. Really, I know Ipswich have their sights set on the Premier League, but yeah, he just refused to go. Didn't he?
yeah, I think I can understand from the point where he's coming from, because he plays for Egypt, and possibly he Egypt has a decent amount of team. Possibly he wouldn't have been missed that much, but yeah, I think it's always an honor to represent your country, especially in these type of I mean, AFCON is similar to Europe. I mean Europe, if you can say. So you have it's a proud moment for every player to represent your country. But yeah, I mean, he has other priorities now, which is
Yeah.
viable as well, because he is going to help Ipswich on course to qualify to get promoted,
Mm.
which is really a good thing.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, so that's that. So make sure you don't bring any of those players in until they're back. In terms of Game Week 29, then you'll see on the screen, if you're on YouTube, that we've got all the latest information for Game Week 29. So we're recording this just after the 2 p.m. games, FA Cup games, and we basically have all the information we can get now until the replays. So Game Week 29 is going to be a giant blank game week. There are only 3 games that are confirmed on, and there is one more game that might be on. So Millwall v Preston, QPR v Huddersfield, and Sunderland v Stoke are all on, because all those teams are now out of the FA Cup. Birmingham against Middlesbrough will be on if Hull beats Birmingham in the replay. That takes place not this midweek coming, but next midweek coming, commencing the 15th of Jan. If Middlesbrough win that tie, then that game... if Birmingham win that tie, then Birmingham Middlesbrough will be off. That leaves all the other games that need to be rearranged for another free midweek. So Leeds, Norwich, Cardiff, Blackburn, Coventry, Bristol City, Ipswich, Rotherham, Plymouth, West Brom, Sheffield Wednesday, Watford, Southampton, Hull, and Leicester, Swansea. All games that need to be rearranged into another midweek. And I've also just put in there the free midweeks that we have. Game week 27 I haven't put on there because it's so soon, so I don't think they'd rearrange them that quickly. But game weeks 28, 29, and 30 are all free. Obviously, if anything goes in 29, they could just have a single game week then, and we'll just have fewer blanks. But whether we'll get any in those weeks, it's hard to tell. I think we had one maybe last season. When I was looking back, there was one that went into 30 or something. So we might get a couple, but I would suspect most of them will go into one of the later ones. Game week 33, game week 34 for teams that are not in the fifth round of the FA Cup. They could go in there. 37, 43, 44, and 45 are all the free midweek. So I imagine 30. I'm looking at 33 and 37 and thinking one of those is probably going to be quite a large double game week. I'm hoping, as someone who still has a boost left, that one or two will go in game week 30. So we can have a double game week to play a boost with. But we shall see. There's certainly enough time. I mean, game week 30 is the 3rd of Feb, so that's over a month away. I don't see why they couldn't just put one or two in there. We'll see. The other thing I'd like to just quickly mention as well is the FA Cup 5th round a couple of years ago moved to a midweek round of fixtures. And what that means is that it doesn't clash with any league games for the championship. So there won't be similar issues in round 4 with teams winning and then therefore creating a blank game week for themselves. That problem will only arise again if any championship teams get to the quarter-final stage of the FA Cup. So that's where we are. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the assets from the 6 teams that are definitely playing in game week 29. But before we do that, I think we need to discuss how on earth we're going to approach this. Let's assume for now that we have just these 3 or 4 games and none of the other games go into 29 and just create a single game week. And the question that I guess comes up now is, first question, if you've got a boost left, do you play Underhaul or something else? So we'll address that. And then the second question is, if you've got no boosts left, how on earth do you navigate it? Let's address the boosts question first. So you've got a boost left, haven't you?
Yep.
And what 2 boosts have you played? Budget Buster and
Jeepers Keepers.
So you're between Follow the Leader and Underhaul. I have got Jeepers Keepers and Underhaul as my 2 options. Do you think Underhaul is worth it in this set? It rarely is in Gaffr, but I don't think it's clear cut in this one. What do you think?
I mean, look, whenever we play free hit on FPL, or predominantly we have played free hit on FPL, we tend to look forward to the fixtures. In the 3 fixtures, I may say, that are currently confirmed to go on 29. How many players do you want? 1, possibly 2. That's it. So you have to decide whether to play a boost and get 2 players that you really like and waste a boost opportunity of not playing another boost for game week 30. Yours is much different because you have Jeepers Keepers left. So playing Underhaul is a much sensible idea. But if someone like myself has a Follow the Leader left and Underhaul left, I will much prefer playing the Follow the Leader on game week 30 rather than playing Underhaul on game week 29, because I don't see a point in getting all those Stoke defenders because they're not they're not looking good. I mean, Steve Schumacher just got the job. They need to do some fine tuning on that defense, especially to say that they have a new goalkeeper in Everson as well, which is signed. So it's a whole new back 4 now. So maybe if you are looking for a defender, then it's Hoover. But Hoover hasn't been perform. I mean, it's good for bonuses. I mean, I'm not saying that you don't go for a Stoke defender, but apart from Hoover, who you are getting for if you are playing an Underhaul, who you are getting for. So I mean, the likes of for Sundays, the Sunderland and their counterpart Sunderland. I mean, apart from Jack Clark, the only guy that you are looking for to get got injured as well, I think. Apart from that, who you are going to get for? So yeah, I mean, if you don't have follow the leader, then I'm seeing a reason to believe. I'm seeing a reason of playing an underhaul in game week 29, because if you're playing keep a boost where you can't maximize your potential, the boost potentiality, then playing underhaul is a better one, because then you will get your whole team back on the next game week as well. But those who has follow the leader, I don't see a point in playing underhaul in game week 29. I think if you really want to play with more than 6+ players, then you go for taking hits. By taking hits, you go for players. But with the fixtures that are in mind, who you really want to go apart from Jack Clark and Hoover?
I
Mm.
think it's even more tricky for you because you're trying to set up for this follow the leader, making up
Yep, yep.
teams that blank in 29. So you
Yeah,
it's even harder for you to get any
yeah.
sort
I
of
have to sell.
amount of players
Yeah,
for 29.
I have to
Tricky.
because I can't. Yeah, I can't sell players who I'm going to play follow the leaders, because I need three players from those three follow the leader teams.
Yeah.
I need three transfers. So 3 weeks I have
Oh,
three
good
free
luck.
transfers. I'm going to spend that.
Good
So
luck.
why I'm going why I'm going to rupture my whole squad?
Uh,
I'm just going to play with three or four players at best. Two players. Not three or four. Two players at best, which I'm going to take on 2029 by taking two hits. That's it.
it sounds really silly when you say that, but it might well be the best strategy for you in terms of
Yep.
maximising your follow the leader. Because I mean, when I look at those fixtures, we'll go into the assets in a minute, but I look at all those games and I think, where's the high upside? Where are the high ceiling players aside from Jack Clark? I don't really see any. Um,
Mm.
every attacker you might get is going to be a punt at best.
Yep.
In terms of them actually being good assets and having good data, you don't want to hold them afterwards.
Yeah.
And where are the clean sheets coming? In Millwall Preston, that could be a low scoring game, but you're looking at very low ceiling again. You're looking at defenders who are probably just going to get you 6 points max, maybe 4 for half clean sheets, is potentially even more likely. And then what's the point in bringing them in with your transfers and getting, or taking a -8 to get them in when you're going to want to get rid of
Yeah.
them straight away? And what they got you, just 4 points or whatever. And then the attackers are such a lottery. So, like, I can see myself coming into this week with 6 players, maybe, if this is all we're going to have. And I'd much rather play Jeepers Keepers. Yeah, just you got to weigh up Jeepers Keepers in a single game week. I think I'm much more inclined to play Underhaul if there is no double game week, because a Jeepers Keepers in a
Yep.
single game week could, if it goes badly, get me 10 points. If it goes well, 30 to 35 points, but 35 is like upper limit sort of thing. An Underhaul can get a similar amount. It can easily get me at least 20, 25 points just from having the full 11 and hitting the right
Mm.
players, and then also not having to transfer them into my team and then transfer them out again. Um,
Yeah.
but if there is a double game week, I'm Jeepers Keepersing. Like, I want to Jeepers Keepers in that week, and
Yeah.
I'm just going to make the best of game week 29, be it with 5, 6 players in my team, I think. But it's not easy. It's really not
Yeah.
easy.
I think what we can do is that we can follow our game week 30 plan, which we were currently in, because those who aren't sure about playing under Hall in game week 29, I'm telling about those, because though, I mean, for your situation, you don't have any thing about holding anything, because if you are now in a position that, yeah, I'm playing 29 if there is no double, I'm playing under Hall in 29 if there is no double in game week 30, that's your clean path. Whereas those who have follow the leader like myself, boost intact, and are willing to play on game week 30, we are going to play it game week by game week. We're going to earmark play that we are playing follow the leader in game week 30. we are doing the transfers accordingly. If there is if there is any reason or any information about double game weeks sound, we will get more players in, because we are playing
Mm,
a boost. The minus whatever take minuses we take, it will covered up. And
mm,
if there is no double game week, we are already on the pathway for our follow the leader.
mm,
No reason to break your whole team now just to play 6 or 7 players for these
yeah.
only 3 games. I don't see a point, and I'm certainly not doing it. I'm suggesting anyone who has who has a follow the leader left in this set, don't rupture your whole team.
Mm,
It is really hard to catch up the ranks once you get on a downward spiral,
mm,
because in Gafford it is i- by playing boost you're gonna increase your ranks, but when you are going on a downward spiral, like I have been in the past 4 weeks, I'm scoring 55 plus points consistently, still I'm getting a red arrow. So it's really hard, because a lot of teams have template players, and a lot of and a lot of template players are scoring right now. It's really
yeah.
hard to catch up the ranks. So
Mm,
why are you sacrificing your good ranks just to play a blank game week and a full
mhm.
quota by playing full quota of players? I don't see the logic behind it.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah.
I agree. Yeah, of course, everything becomes so much easier, I guess, if even just like one game like Southampton Hull just gets arranged for either
Mm,
29 or 30. 29 just because then it's easy to get closer to a full 11 out, or if it's 30 for you, your quid's in, because then you can follow the leader on a double game week, which would
yep.
be fantastic for you.
Yep.
So really all it takes is one or two of those template teams to have a rearrangement before the boost reset, and I think you're laughing.
Yep.
I think that's what you want, definitely.
Yep. Mm,
Um, I don't think it matters too much for me. I mean, it matters in terms of getting more players out in Game Week 29,
yeah.
but I'm in the same boat as most other people in terms of having not many of those players in 29 and 0, so I don't think it makes that much difference. But for you,
Mm,
it is probably quite important
yeah.
that you get one or two rearrangements before the boost reset. I mean, I just want a double
Yeah.
game
I
week to
mean,
play Jeepers Keepers in, really, because I just
yeah. I
want to be
mean,
able to gain on those
those.
above me who've not played, who've not got any boosts left, because that would be huge. Also, I'd be
Yeah.
really sad not to play my favourite boost Jeepers Keepers in this set, and if I have to play Underhaul and it's
Mm,
the right thing to do, I'll be a little bit sad to miss out on Jeepers
yeah.
Keepers this season. I just love it; it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think those, as I said earlier, those who has the follow the leader boost intact, you haven't played at all. Those are the people that are looking for any announcement regarding a double game week in this before game week 30 hits, because then we will be, I mean, at least one of the teams like Southampton, Ipswich, Leeds, if any one of them gets a rearranged game, then it will do wonders for for us, for the leader boost players who are playing in game week 30. But apart from those players who already had played follow the leader, for them it's a free hit time.
Yeah,
I
we'll
guess
see.
in game week 29, play the free
Mm.
hit, full 11 out, get all those green arrows, and then get your red arrows in game week 30 and follow the leader boost hits.
That will be your time to shine.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you're gaining 50 points on your booster, we're gaining 20 on ours, and then you're 30 points up.
possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Let's now pretend then that we're lots of us are going to play Underhaul, sorry, because that's how things are going to
yeah.
pan out. And let's just have a go through these 6 teams, and maybe we'll touch on Birmingham Middlesbrough at the end. But who the best assets are. What I've done,
Mm, mm.
actually, I'm going to do this first.
Okay.
Bear with me 1 second. I will edit that out. Before we do that, actually, what I wanted to do is have a refresh of the bonus stats. I've just put on
Mm,
the team. It's a big table. There's a lot of numbers, but
mm,
essentially, this is sorted from top to bottom. Most baseline bonus from your defense, from your non-returns bonus. So the ones that we always look at when we look at bonus are defensive actions, key passes, shots on target, and dribbles. Just to show you guys where we're at now. Now we're over halfway through the season. We've got a lot of data, and then this table has been filtered by the different teams that blank in that play in game week 29, so that we can look at who's particularly good for bonus on all of those different teams. But just if you want to pause the video and just have a little look at this, you're welcome. I've also highlighted the expected goal involvements per 90 for each of the players as well, so you can see if they are also good from an attacking returns point of view. So Crescentia Somerville leads the way by a long shot on bonus at the moment. He's averaging 3 successful dribbles per 90, 3.4 key passes per 90, and 1.4 shots on target per 90, and 2.6 defensive actions per 90. So he is doing everything, and he is over 1 kind of point clear of second place, and he has the second most bonus points in total over the season, I believe, with 140. And again, that's not bonus points, but that is racking up the total of this baseline here. So, and obviously he's got fantastic underlying numbers from an attacking point of view to boot. 0.72 expected goal involvement per 90 is great. So he is obviously, as we know, completely essential, and he's easily the best asset in the game. Second place is Jaden Philogene Bidace, and everyone caught on to him before his injury that his numbers were starting to go through the roof, and that has now borne out in him being second place in terms of looking at per 90 stats. He's obviously not as high if you look in total, but that's because he wasn't playing straight away at the start of the season. He's only had 13.290 games, 90 minutes worth, and he got injured and stuff. But his underlying numbers from an attacking point of view are also very good. 0.53 expected goal involvements per 90, excluding penalties, by the way. This is in that column. Clark's third, Azaz is fourth, which is really impressive. He's been fantastic, and well done to all of you who played Budget Bust on him in 22. I'm not at all salty about that whatsoever. His key passes are very good, 3.2 key passes per 90, driving that, but he's also okay with his dribbles too. Aspria is fifth. Now he doesn't seem to be great from a minutes point of view, but he is decent at key passes as well, and the defensive actions. Although the defensive actions we should probably not read too much into, because you need 4 defensive actions to get a point, so you need quite a lot there. But he's also decent for successful dribbles too. Any other call-outs? I don't think there's any other particularly interesting call-outs there, but feel free to have a look and see if there's anything you can pick out. Fataru does okay for Leicester. He's quite high up. He's not far behind Dewsbury Hall at the moment, so if he continues to be good for minutes, then he could be interesting.
Diangana, likes of Diangana, West Brom assets.
Diangana isn't on this page, and this page has about 25-30 players on, so probably not great from a bonus point of view. Leif Davis is the top of the Ipswich forward still. That was the case earlier on in the season. He remains the best for bonus at the moment. Leif Davis is doing well as well, but he's not quite as high up as he was, I think, earlier on in the season. He's sort of middle of the pack here. He's on a similar level with Mavididi, and you remember at the very start of the season, some of you, that I really didn't rate Mavididi from a bonus point of view, but he's actually doing okay now. From that point of view, he's getting some key passes and some dribbles, so he's not bad for bonus anymore. He is, in fact, on the same level to Gabriel Sara, whose bonus has gone through the floor. Actually, he's still averaging 2.9 key passes per 90, but his shots on target and dribbles are not there at all, so he's not looking as good at all. Whitaker's still very good for bonus. He's appearing on the page there. Sariki Dembele keeps appearing on the page because he just gets loads of successful dribbles, but his underlying attacking numbers aren't that great, and his minutes aren't great either. Any other call-outs? Elias Chair's on the list. Liam Miller's on the list towards the bottom here. Twine's not bad for bonus at all. So yeah, Dan James is on there too. So yeah, lots of, I guess what you really want is you're green in the expected goal involvements column, and you're to be quite high up on the list. So those sorts of players like your Rutters and your Dewsbury Halls and your Somervilles, we all know these are great players, but the data's still showing it really. The only real surprises to me are like Patrick Roberts is still appearing very high on the bonus data, but he's scored no goals this season, for example. He's only got the 1 assist. He's underperforming his expected assists, so he's like underperforming a lot. Um, and like Fataru's maybe a name we wouldn't have thought of that we could look at. That's about it really. But yeah, hope that's potentially helpful to some of you. Let's move on to those teams then. So Millwall, I'll bring our faces back. There we go. Right. Well, I don't know if you're looking at any Millwall assets for Game Week 29. For me, it might just be a defender. But on the screen, there's a few of your top options. Fleming, who's got 4 goals and 2 assists this season, could be okay. And then the other 2 that are okay for bonus are Norton Cuffy and Saville. I don't know, any of them take your fancy?
Nah,
No.
apart from Fleming, yeah, I think Norton Coffee is an interesting option because he pops up with the odd assists and goals,
Yeah.
especially in the last 5 matches. I think he has popped up with 2 assists and a goal or 2 goals, because notifications got pinged up. Millwall has scored and Norton Coffee. I'm saying, no, what? But his price is really on the expensive side. So if you're playing an underhaul, he can be an option, but not for normal people, no, who are not playing underhaul. They are not. These are not options because he's, I think, 6 million plus or six
Yeah.
million.
He's 6'2",
So
which is expensive. But he
yeah,
is the 9th highest scoring defender in the game, which isn't bad.
yeah, but every one of our spots is taken by the likes of Walk Peters, Ricardo, Davis. So that's 3 of the 5 spots fulfilled. And I've seen quite a lot of people with NG as well. So that's 4 of the 5 spots failed. It doesn't make any sense to spend another 6 million on a defender who may or may not play every week. So yeah, I think if you're playing under Hall, then Norton Cuffy and Fleming are your 2 options from Millwall. But yeah, that's about it. I think from Millwall.
Yeah, I wouldn't be going near any of the strikers like Nisbet, for example. He's not got great. Oh, he's got 0.36 expected goals per 90, which isn't awful, but his minutes aren't guaranteed. Fleming, he's okay. But yeah, like I say, Norton Cuffy has had 2 goals, 2 assists, so maybe he's the one. He's probably the one I would get, but expensive. Preston. Liam Miller's an interesting one because he is very good for bonus, and he looks. I've seen him play a couple of times, and he's kind of passing the eye test, but he's a midfielder in the game, and I think he plays like a wing back. So I don't know if he has been recently or if he's been playing winger recently. But when I watched him early on in the season towards the start, he was like a wing back. So, but yeah, I don't know what you think. He's had 3 goals, 4 assists this season, which isn't too bad at all.
I haven't seen Preston games or watched highlights since Wilkin has got injured, so that's
Yeah.
a long time. And so, I mean, the only way I can say that I've heard of Liam Miller is through the AFL Fantasy Pod because they dedicated they dedicated an episode towards him and talked about him. So uh, from them only I get to, know a bit about him and what are his stats and all that, because I only see Miller has scored. Okay, Preston. I'm not going anywhere near any Preston players right now. So he kind of, just I have been putting off of him, but he certainly can be an option for your underhaul forward options. He's a forward, right, or a midfielder?
Miller, I think he's a midfielder in the game. Yeah.
So yeah, he can be another decent option, and he's, I think, in good goal scoring form as well, especially in the championship. So yeah, he apart from him, I think maybe Woodman for
Yeah.
saves and all those things. You need a goalkeeper. I mean, there are 2 goalkeepers that you really want in your underhaul team this on game 29. I think, and one is Patterson for Sunderland, and one is, I think, probably Woodman.
Yeah, I mean, I can see Millwall Preston being a low scoring game where you
Yeah.
just maybe a half clean sheet for Preston, maybe. So stick a defender in, maybe. I don't know, like Lindsay, but it's just filling out your team really with meh. But yeah, Potts maybe you could go for. I don't know, but yeah. Okay, that's Preston. Stoke. I mean, no one stands out to me. Maybe Hoover, but I don't know what you think. Sure, Iceland and Gooch appears twice on in two different rows on the table, but never mind.
Uh, it's a really tricky one for some Stoke, because if you look at if you try to compare Plymouth and Stoke now, I mean, it can't do that. And if you're looking at those type of players that Stoke currently has, if you compare them with the type of system that Plymouth Schumacher was playing at Plymouth, I mean, who is Whitaker in Stoke? Basically, Vidigal can be said that he can be the Whitaker for scoring the goals, but he still needs time to bed into the new philosophy of his new manager. Uh, I think if you're going on a safe side, Hoover is the only option. Apart from him, maybe Gooch looks like, but I think he got dropped on the week championship last game, I think.
The only
Or
one
did he
I
play?
other one I'd call out maybe is Mame, however you say his name. That's a really weird name. Mmaee. He's looking fairly nailed. He started every game since the 28th of November. He's only got 2 goals, 2 assists in that time, but he could be an okay option. His underlying numbers there are not bad at all, actually. Not
Yeah,
from a bonus point of view, but more from a. I'd only get him if I was on an underhaul, but
yeah,
um,
I think
could be
Stoke as a
interesting.
team hasn't been scoring goals, so it's really hard to predict who will score the goals for them, because it's really sporadic in terms of their returns, especially in
Yeah.
the attacking and the midfield players. So I think apart from Hoover, you are really have to ask a couple of Stoke fans that there are in the community the likes of Kyle and Jamie, who can be other options, because they can give you a possible or tell you who they think will be the decent options. But in terms of a neutral point of view, sorry, the loud nights. In terms of the neutral perspective, I think apart from Hoover, I don't see anyone. Maybe Everson, because they now if he will start in goal,
Oh,
so he
interesting.
can
Okay.
be a decent option as well. I think Jamie has said that, yeah, he. I mean, he straight away started in the FA Cup game against Brighton Hove Albion yesterday after signing for them. So yeah, he can be a decent option as well if you're looking for another Stoke player. But in terms of attacking options, you have to really ask a lot of Stoke fans for this. We can't help you apart from Hoover, May, and maybe Wilson as well, because we are not sure about who to pick. That's the issue
Yeah.
here.
Wow. Tricky one. Okay, that's Stoke. Not much there at all. Sunderland. I've done this in the wrong order. I should have done Sunderland first. I mean, Sunderland have more about them. They've got viable
Ah,
defenders in your like Trey Hume and Ballard, who's obviously a goal threat. I got a goal from him early on in the season. Obviously, everyone's going to Jack Clark, so we don't need to talk about him. Patrick
yeah,
Roberts,
yeah,
will he will he come good? I'm not sure he will. He's like I say, so good for his successful dribbles and has chipped in with key passes, but no goals yet and just the 1 assist. So he's underperforming his XG by 3 and his XA by 2.7. So he is way underperforming at the moment. But that is symptomatic of Sunderland's striker problem at the moment, not having anyone to finish the chances, because Jack Clark is massively underperforming his expected assists as well. When I did my Twitter thing at some point during the festive period about who's underperforming and overperforming their expected data, Clark was the one who was underperforming the XA by the most. So um, they need strikers to finish off the chances. We'll see if they can sign anyone in this transfer window. That's their biggest priority, isn't it? Really. Um, Pritchard's the other
yeah.
one that could be interesting, but it's just if he starts. Like if he starts, he's got decent numbers as well. But I don't think he's going to start most games unless he is impressing Beale, and the new manager will play him more. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think the main problem for Sunderland is that they have too many injured forward players, and Beale has to assess his forward options, because they spend heavily on especially in the forward department. They've signed, I think, 3 to 4 strikers already, and they have to play them somewhere. down the line with the, I think, half of the season already gone, uh, more than half. So he has to come good, and I think more of the trans. I mean, more of the transfer market transfer deals will depend on whoever they get in the middle of the park and the defense. I don't think they are going to spend anything substantial on the forward department. I mean, because the players are getting fit now who got injured, and let Bill assess them and see what them, because they have too many forwards. And they sold Ross Stewart and they have bought what, four forwards,
And they're all
and none
rubbish.
of them, yeah, none of them is has put him. I mean, they don't. None of them had a consistent run on the team. Every. I mean, they play two games, then they get injured for, I think, a month or so. So that doesn't help Sunderland as well, and all the load is putting on Jack Clark, and mm, that doesn't seem right to me, because he feels sometimes, if you get to him, he feels like he's doing something that which was not needed for him to do at that particular point of time. Just simple football. He could have scored more goals and bring more points to his team. But yeah, I mean, he needs help, and hopefully, Beal does something, does work like. I mean, he did something like, for Dykes as well, because before Dykes started scoring goals for fun. So
Mm,
hopefully, he can do something, and install some confidence in the Sunderland forwards as well. Especially the Ukrainian lad, I've seen a couple of minutes. He seems like a good, decent player, so
Listen.
he can be a decent option. Yeah, Ruslan, he can be a decent option if he stays fit and he gets a consistent run in the team.
Yeah, I think the ones I'd likely go to are just a defender like Ballard, to be honest, or Hume. Um, Obviously, Hookins is out for a while. Maybe Joe Bellingham, but he doesn't actually show up quite well on the bonus side of things. So you're really relying on him popping up with the goals. He's got 4 goals and an assist, which isn't bad. But yeah, it's some pickings there too, really. Um,
Yeah,
QPR. I mean, defensively they're not awful at the moment. I was shocked to see that Kenneth Paul is the fourth highest scoring defender in Gaffr. I don't know how he's managed that. 3 goals this season, but like, how's he managed that? QPR have been pretty poor all season. Um, who are you thinking here? I guess it's Paul Smythe
there are
who's
a lot.
doing okay.
There,
Chair
there are
maybe.
a lot of Yeah, there are a lot of options for QPR. It's The thing is that who starts and who doesn't, in my opinion, because Dykes can be an option, Chair can be an option, Sinclair can be an option, Sinclair Armstrong can be an option. Who is the other one that we had? Willock can be an option. So there are a lot of options for QPR, but it's who I think the possibly best three for me is, apart from the defensive options that you mentioned, Kenneth Paul. I think the other ones are Chair, or Dykes, and Begovic. He may be old,
Yeah,
but he's
that's right.
pulling off some decent points for QPR, and he's consistently starting in goal for them. He's the captain as well, so he can be a decent option as well. So these are the couple of options that you have for QPR,
Yeah, I
and
don't
these
hate
are,
that. Don't hate Begovic at all.
yeah.
That's all right. Just go. You could just go for a defender. I mean, I've got Clark Salter. I'll start him 29 if I'm not underhauling.
Mhm.
Paul, I don't know how Paul's managed to get himself up to fourth highest scoring defender, but if you can afford him, you can
Mm.
have him as well. I think Chair is the one I would like. If I was to go for an attacker, I'd go for Chair, and that would be it. I think. Yeah, Huddersfield, the last one. Now, I'll just point out from the data here that Silver Thomas is the one that sticks out, I guess. Good for keep. He's okay for bonus. He's kind of middle of the pack, but 2.7 key passes per 90, and good underlying expected goal involvement of 0.41 per 90. But that is almost exclusively assists. So he's got really good creativity, but he hasn't got a goal threat at all. He's scored 2 goals from next year 2 this season, so that's 0.09 per game. That's very low. But from an assist point of view, he looks a lot stronger. So he's probably the pick of the bunch there. And then you've got Josh Koroma and Rudoni, who are okay from underlying expected numbers. Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'd go for any Huddersfield attackers, to be
Um,
honest. Maybe Silver Thomas, I don't know.
yeah, I think, no, I think you have 2 game weeks to see how Huddersfield looks, because they have signed Andre Santos and the news. I think is it a Swedish striker? They signed 2 players, 2 attacking players already. So those how those two is looking like, and they already have a forward who is scoring goals for them. I think, who was he?
Bergzorg,
Yeah. So
who I think
for
is
a
out for some. He's got a red flag for some reason. He's got an injury. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, the new guy that has come in, and Santos. These are the two players keep a watch from Huddersfield in these next 2 games, 27, 28, and then you can understand how they're playing, how they will be looking forward. But yeah, apart from that, I think the ones that you mentioned are the only ones that sticks out, because I don't see anyone. I mean, Sauber Thomas, I have a weird history with Sauber Thomas, so I'm not playing anywhere near with him, but he seems to be doing okay this season. Mm,
Mm.
Yeah, apart from him, maybe Helik. He he Huddersfield, he can pop up with an odd assist or two, keep a half clean
He
sheet
does
as
well,
well.
Halleck, doesn't he? Actually, he's quite high. He's quite high scoring among defenders. Actually, he pops up with quite a
Yeah,
few
if
goals.
Pearson is back, I think Pearson should be back by 29.
Halleck
So
will be
if
nailed though. Halleck should be fine.
yeah, Pearson should be also, because they have
Yeah,
missed Pearson, especially in the defense. So these two can be another option apart from Sauber Thomas.
yeah.
And keep a watch on those 2 new guys that they have signed early on the window
Mm.
in these 2 games. So then you have a couple of 5 to 6 players to choose from Huddersfield.
Yeah, and then if Birmingham Middlesbrough does go into game week 29, I don't see clean sheets for either side there, so I wouldn't be going for any defenders. And also with Birmingham, you've got the new manager issue. Presumably the new manager will be in place by then, but we don't know who he's going to favour. So yeah, I mean, I think Sriki Dembele is the one you could look at. You could look at Stansfield, but it's quite hard to tell who's
Yeah,
me or she.
it depends.
Hard to tell who's
Yeah,
going to be
depends on
favoured
the
in the system.
manager. If Mowbray comes, then I think Sergio Dembele will get a consistent run.
Mm,
Odds on Mowbray is odds on favorite to be the next Birmingham manager, but that club is a mess right now in terms of what their expectation of what their and what their owner's expectation was. They sacked a manager who, when the team was at sixth, now they've sacked a manager who now the team is languishing in the relegation zone. It's weird time to be a Birmingham fan, but I don't know. So I'm going to stay away from Birmingham if I'm underhauling in 29. If Mowbray comes before 29, then picking Sidika Dembele or Jay Stanisfield will be decent option. But if no manager comes on and if they are still going with this caretaker manager, then I'm staying away from Birmingham. In terms of Middlesbrough, there are quite a lot of option. I think if two Middlesbrough and Birmingham game goes ahead, because I think Glover can be a decent option in goal, and with all those, Sam Greenwood can be a decent option. Finn Azaz can be a decent option,
yeah,
because I think
interesting
he
that.
will be playing. Yeah, he will be playing in 29. So Finn Azaz can be a decent option as well. So yeah, there are a couple of options, but at first, it remains to be seen whether it does go ahead.
Coburn as well. I mean, he's been a bit out of favour with Latilab playing up front, but Latilab has an injury, I believe. So,
Okay.
um,
I think
interesting.
Middlesbrough need a new forward.
Yeah,
Lathalat. He doesn't look right to me.
he's done all right. He's done all right.
I mean, he's doing all right, but I mean, there was a reason he was not getting a look in even in the bench for Atalanta. I haven't seen him on the bench for Atalanta. I don't know how he has come from Atalanta, where he was playing before. I haven't seen in the bench for Atalanta as well in the Champions League or in the Serie A. So
Yeah,
do not know what Michael Carrick saw in him. Probably looking to. I mean, looks like Akpom replacement, but I think they should loan back Akpom from Ajax. He's not starting games there. He will starting
Oh,
games
oh,
here
Chuka
as well.
Akpom, he was so good. He was
Yeah,
so good. Yeah,
yeah,
I do think
yeah.
Mowbray
So
is a
these
good
are the
appointment for Birmingham, though. I think he could get a tune out of them. I hope they start performing better because we were so excited. We were quite excited about them in pre-season, weren't we? About what they could do, and they were doing well. And then they did the stupid thing. They did the stupid thing. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think in terms of watching football, this might be the most weirdest thing I've seen when a team was playing well in the playoff positions. The second manager, what, what your owners are thinking? What was? I really want to look into the head of Tom Brady there. What were you thinking, mate?
Let's
You
bring in
were
a
on.
great play. Let's bring in a guy who was a great player and a superstar, so we can have an all-star superstar manager in Wayne Rooney, like the Americans do with their all-star superstar players and the all-star
Yeah,
superstar
I mean,
coaches. There you go.
look, in
I
there
hope
is a
I've not offended
reason.
any Americans. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, even the Americans would have said that Wayne Rooney was not a good coach for DC United as well.
Well,
He's not a good coach. He really needs to come up through the ranks. He doesn't have that in many. I mean, more English coaches that are in the under 20 under 19 level are better than him. They should have. I mean, gave opportunity to somebody else who have done it in there. Wayne Rooney hasn't done anything in English football. I mean, although MLS, I mean, Messi has gone to MLS, but MLS, the competition level of MLS in terms of the championship competition, it's still a class above the rest. So, championship, you have to earn every point. You can't rest. 46 games is not a matter of joke. And there is relegation.
marathon
I
in
mean,
it.
yeah, it's really an midweek games. You don't get a break. Three games in a matter of 1 week. You can't get to play in anywhere. So it's really tough league. So you can't. You have to have the credentials to manage a club like that because
Yeah.
it's a so an up and down league. So you have to prepare for it. When Rooney was never a decent appointment, and don't know how they persisted for him with 15 games with the
Yeah,
team
yeah,
now and languishing
for
towards the
sure.
bottom. Yeah. So we think, yeah,
On to questions, I think. And there's
yeah,
no
okay.
David, no David to read them out. I've got the
And there are a
slide.
lot of questions.
I think we've actually addressed most of these questions. There's only four, but we'll read them out.
Yeah.
Um, so we've got. Do you want to do them, Abhishek? Because as David's not here.
Yeah, yeah. Let's look. We have a new question provider. Let's start with him. FPL Shakazulu. At the rate FPL underscore Shakazulu 12. He says, Happy New Year, folks. Hope you enjoyed the break. Happy New Year to you. Yes, we have, and hope you have enjoyed the break as well. Underhaul in Game Week 29 versus Budget Buster in Game Week 30. Which is better? Leaning towards Budget Buster. Also, which game week are the blank fixtures in Game Week 29 most likely going to? So, blank fixtures in Game Week 29 most likely
Covered that.
going to, yeah, we've covered that. But Underhaul in Game Week 29 versus Budget Buster in Game Week 30, which is better?
Budget Buster. I mean, you saw what happened in Game
Uh,
Week 22. People getting
yeah,
to nearly 200 points. The ceiling is so high on Budget Buster. And just
yeah,
think about how your underhaul could flop with all these rubbish assets. And let's just say you only get a couple of returns and you're gaining
yeah,
10 points from the boost, 15 points from the boost. Go for the high ceiling. In Gaffy, if you're looking to get a good rank, you really need to tap into that potential high ceiling that you can get from these boosts, and really go for that opportunity, I guess, to just have a rank that just skyrockets because Finn Azaz gets a goal and 2 assists or whatever he got against Rotherham in that game week 22 45 pointer. So yeah, no brainer for me. Budget buster in game 30.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I will be also echoing the points that you mentioned. The only caveat is that be you will have lesser options in Budget Buster in 30, I think. I mean, the likes of a lot of options. I mean, a lot of good teams. The likes of Southampton, Leeds. They're playing decent option. They're playing. So you have to play budget buster with minimum amount of, I think, 6 to 7 guys, if I'm not mistaken, because
Maybe
Southampton play Rotherham, Swan,
they play
Watford play
Middlesbrough. So,
Cardiff.
no, sorry, I'm wrong. You're right. They play Rotherham. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you have. I mean, still, Budget Buster is the best option. Taking nothing away from him, and it's not even a competition. If you are looking to play, if you have Budget Buster and Underhaul remaining one of the boost to play, so Budget Buster is remains the standout option. You have to be you have to pick players based on the budget. You have to look at the fixtures and pick players. I think the pool of players is reducing by the time by game week 30. Because a lot of players have moved on, and a lot of players have gone up in prices and have passed the threshold of that budget marker. So you have to be quite mindful about that. Just apart from that, I think, yeah, Budget Buster is hands down the best boost to play if you don't have follow the leader in 30. So hopefully that answers your question. Duvor asks which games go on in game week 29. So Joe, can you repeat which games go on in 29 confirmed?
Yeah, I mean we've covered that, but Millwall, Preston, QPR, Huddersfield, and Sunderland, Stoke are definite.
Yeah,
Birmingham, Middlesbrough is in if Hull beat Birmingham in the replay, and the
mm,
rest are all confirmed off.
yeah. So Duvor, that answers your question. Next, it's Rambo Munnaf. He says, "Welcome back. How was the winter vacation? It's good. It was quite good. Hopefully, you had a lovely time with your families
Mm-hmm.
and families. And mostly, how we gonna plan on FTL? Which three club should we target? Okay, so three club should we target on follow the leader game week 30.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Okay,
assuming it's that game week 30 he's playing it because he's presumably
yeah,
not planned enough for game week 27, and obviously not going to play in 29. I
or
guess
28 or 20. Yeah, so
why wouldn't you put? I was just wondering whether you could play it in 28. I mean, Leicester Ipswich though is a problem potentially. Do you want to play it on that?
yep,
And Leeds,
yeah,
who did they got? Preston, that's a good fixture. Southampton have got Swansea, but I like game week 30 to be
yeah,
honest. I mean,
and
yeah, go on.
the main reason is that Southampton play Rotherham. That's a plumb follow the leader fixture. And if Southampton, if I'm keeping my fingers crossed, if Southampton do gets a double game week, ah man, follow the
Yeah,
leader will be
true.
through the
Oh,
roof.
that could be nice. That would be
Yeah, I mean,
a double game week of Rotherham and Hull.
uh,
Obviously, Hull are
oh
decent now,
god.
but it'd be good.
Still, they don't have that Philogen Bidis, and they're missing that spark of Philogen Bidis. And I think they have a few injury issues as well now.
Mm.
With Lime Delap and others. Morton has got a red card, but he got it reversed. So that decision is reversed, so he is likely to be available. But yeah, so yeah, Southampton clearly is one of the follow the leader teams. If you're looking to play follow the leader, apart from that, I think Leicester is also another team for follow the leader. They play Stoke away, and with the time Stoke is having right now, ideally the best time and to play Stoke.
Yeah,
And your Leicester, you have a lot of follow the leader options, and you're playing. mm they are the form team right now, so Leicester can be a decent option. Ipswich play Preston. There is another Leeds play Bristol. There is another follow leader. So just pick
it's the standard
what you
stuff, isn't it? Like none of this is a surprise to you in terms of like the
whichever.
best teams with the best assets, right?
Yeah,
Leicester, Leeds, and they've all got good enough fixtures. I guess the
yeah,
only one I'd urge caution on is Ipswich with their injuries that they've had. Hopefully, they've cleared up by 30 and they're kind of back to playing
mm,
well again. I guess they've been struggling a little bit recently, but I imagine they'll be okay. But I
yeah,
mean,
and I
also
think
Southampton double defense. Just load up on just have Walker Peters and another defender. Rotherham looks like a clean sheet
yeah,
game to me, and then obviously got Adam Armstrong.
yeah.
Win-win. right?
Yeah, I think most of the follow the leader teams we already had two options. Like Leicester leads Southampton, we already have two type of players from those team in our team already. So basically, those three are the template teams, and those three are the teams most of the follow the leader boost will be played upon. Who hasn't? Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully, Mr. Rambo, that answers your question. And the last question, our favorite guy, Glasto. The piss artist formerly known as FPL Glasto.
I don't
Jeez,
understand that name though.
he got some. Yeah, he got some names for his Twitter handles. So
Very long,
yeah, Mr.
long name.
Glasto asks, sure you will cover Game Week 29. Yes, we have covered. But thoughts on underhand?
He means Underhaul, but yeah.
Glasgow, it's underhaul, not underhand.
It's like budget booster all
Not
over again.
yeah. Okay, not a boost I ever considered using in Gaffer, but allows you to load up on double game week players. Hold on, double game week players and smash into the blank. Okay, and leaves me one more boost for the double if it happens in game week 30. Paul, play the underhand underhand. Look what you did to me. Paul, play the underhaul. You have two boosts left. If you're looking for playing for the leader in game week 30, as you mentioned here, you have one more boost. What? Hopefully, I am hoping that you have follow the leader because I've seen you play Budget Buster. So if you have for the leader in game week 30, certainly play for underhaul and whatever options that we have covered earlier, those are the options for you. I, I mean, Glasto is likely the only GAF player who has this opportunity, I guess.
Irons does. Irons has two
Yeah.
boosts.
Come
He'll be
on,
shooting
man.
for number one.
If he doesn't win Gaffer, then that will be a miracle now.
In a
It
negative
really
sense,
will
in
be.
a negative sense, like if he never wins Gaffer in his lifetime, he's failed. He's failed at life. Sorry, Nick.
I mean, arguably he is. I mean, he's sixth overall. So he arguably has. I mean, he definitely has the shoe in to nail his top spot and just put your feet up and enjoy the rest of the one third games that is left.
As if it was that. As if it's going to be that easy.
Yeah, yeah. And someone who just lost the league title. Yeah, I know the
Yeah, well,
pain.
but yeah, back to the question. I'd be
Yes.
curious to know what boost he's played actually, because if he's got
Hold
yeah,
on.
like could he play a
Just just talk about it. Let me check his. I think.
is he in one of our leagues?
mm,
I guess it's. I'm just thinking like the argument that we were talking about in terms of like Jeepers Keepers versus Underhaul remains the same whether you've got two boosts left or one, right? So maybe he. I really like the idea of underhauling and then smashing into 30. I think that could go really, really well. But I'm also wondering whether you know the same. Yeah, that probably is the best strategy. But obviously, there you got to think about whether the points boost in game week 28 might outscore the underhaul and just have a naff game week 29 and not worry about it. All the same things we were talking about before, really, in terms of the merits of playing, for me, particularly Jeepers Keepers in 30 versus Underhaul in 29 would apply for you in
no,
terms of game week 28 and game week 29.
no.
So, yeah, we'll see.
Just to cut you, he played for the leader in game week 18.
So
So
he's going to play Budget
he
Buster
has the
in
budget
30.
buster. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the options is going to be limited for you.
Jeepers Keepers
But
28, maybe. I mean, if he puts in a budget, has two budget goalkeepers, then who could do it with. I don't know.
yeah,
Hladky, because Ipswich play Leicester away. Have
yeah,
Hladky, and he's budget, and you can play him on Budget Buster in 30, and
yeah.
then
So
maybe someone else.
yeah, I think in summary, you can play Underhaul in game week 29. That's a surety because you don't have to look forward into tripling up on players because you have already played follow the leaders, follow the leader boost. So if you're looking for budget buster options or cheaper keepers, you have the luxury of waiting before playing waiting for the fixtures to get announced, because possibly if anything or any double game week is announced for game week 30, you will get the notice as well. So 29 game 29, play the underhaul, wait for those start doing the budget buster moves beforehand, uh, so that because your team will not get affected because you're playing underhaul, so you're allowed to make those changes in your team right now to for that budget buster. So keep on doing your budget buster plan. Keep accordingly going forward with your budget buster plan. If you are indeed playing budget buster in Game Week 30, then keep on working on those plans because you're playing under all in 29. So
Someone's got
it
you
doesn't
saying underhand as well now.
underhaul. Yeah. Yeah, that will be my suggestion to you.
Cool. That'll do then. All right.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yep.
Thank you guys for the questions as well. David will be pissed off again.
Oh
uh,
wow.
well, yeah, but I think we will be getting consistent number of questions nowadays because I think we have built up a couple of followings in this season as well. So we'll get no worries, David. Hopefully, you have a wonderful time enjoying the skiing, enjoying the snowy mountains.
Yeah.
Um, so hopefully
Norway,
we'll
what a
get back.
country. Stunning.
Yeah,
I want to go.
hopefully
I want to
you will
go.
be able. Hopefully he will be able to join us in the next week, and hopefully by the time Batson Daka will be going out of his team.
Right, let's look at our teams then for this game week. The order's different for some
What?
reason, so yours is on the screen first this time. So any early thoughts in terms of what you're gonna do?
Uh, Possibly getting in Jack Clark. That's the uh, only possible move I'm seeing about making right now, because that Greenwood punt hasn't worked, and possibly now being frustrated on Clark getting those points in the last 2 weeks, because I'm used to getting Clark points
Mm,
because I have held him the longest. I've sold him only for the sake of budget buster, and I haven't gotten him in. So I'm pissed off with those points that I've missed from Clark in these 4 game weeks. So I think possible move will be Greenwood to Clark, and the rest of the team is up on the screen. Johansson will be in goal. NG, Walker Peters, Ricardo, and Davis will be my back four. Somerville, Twine, Dewsbury Hall, and Clark will be my mid four. And my two forwards will be Rutcher and Armstrong. Captaincy Armstrong is without a doubt will be put on Armstrong. They play Sheffield Wednesday at St Mary's. Although Sheffield Wednesday is on a decent run of form, but I think Southampton is too big of a task for them, and especially away from home, to get a victory out of, because Southampton are scoring a lot of goals, playing with a lot of freedom, and they are really looking like the Southampton team of old. So, yeah, captaincy will be on Armstrong, and my vice will be on Somerville. I mean, who else apart from Somerville? If
yeah.
you are not putting captaincy on him, you better put your vice captaincy on him,
Hmm,
because otherwise he will hurt you. He will hurt you
indeed.
bad.
Indeed. Fair enough. Okay, we have next got Davids for some reason. Who knows what he's going to do, but he's currently got his captaincy bust on Somerville and vice on Armstrong, which is equally good. He's got a strong looking
Yeah.
team actually. Um, there, yeah, looks pretty good to
Mm.
me. My team, I am very likely to roll and just await information in terms of doubles and
Mm.
rearrangements. My team is template FC. I have to say, it's very template. But yeah, I'm happy with it at the moment. The players I'm kind of looking at, like It's starting to hurt me not having Ricardo Pereira now. Now he's starting to chip in with attacking returns. I just struggle to see a world where I can get up to him at the moment, particularly because I've got Mavididi sitting there as holding a lot of budget. So it's not until if I ever downgrade Mavididi, would I ever be able to afford him. The reason Howard Bellis I thought would be fine is just because Southampton defensively are so good at the moment. They're keeping a lot of clean sheets, and Leicester are keeping fewer clean sheets these days. But the attacking returns are starting to come for Pereira, which is annoying me slightly. And he scored in the FA Cup as well yesterday. So I need to hopefully do all right going without him. Also on my radar is Haji Wright. So if I ever sell Mavididi as well, he could be another one I'd look at to bring in for someone like a Broadhead or a Whittaker. Because he is scoring a lot of goals and the XG backs it up as well. He's doing really... I think he's second top for XG in the league, Haji Wright. So he is on the radar.
Haji Wright. I thought Sakamoto is a much better option from Coventry.
He's not, no. I'd say Haji Wright's the best option there. Sakamoto's not bad. I don't think he's a bad option. He's chipping in with goals.
Yeah, he's scoring goals for fun now for the past few 2 to 3 game weeks.
Yeah, I mean, Coventry have Leicester, so not this week, but in 28, he's got Wednesday away, and then there's Norwich away in 30, and Norwich are not good defensively, so, but, I mean, it depends, obviously, if I don't Underhaul, then I will obviously be looking at those sorts of players instead, so we'll have to see. So, yeah, there's just a few of the players I'm looking at, but I have a good team, so I don't think it makes sense to make any moves at all this week.
When you have a good... I mean, look, it's a template has been formed and it is not going away, so just you don't have to, if you are not playing budget buster, you don't have to rupture your team altogether. So it's better to play it safe, hold your rank, and then assess with the fixtures, because a lot of fixtures are coming on.
I was quite surprised at how well I've done the last few weeks in terms of green hours, because my team's so template. I thought I wouldn't have enough differentials, but just the right combination of players at the moment, it seems to be. So also the captaincy, I'm not going to have. I don't think I'm going to have the vice captaincy on Clark. It's just the same as it was last week. It'll be a toss up between Armstrong and Somerville captain for me. I'm not sure where I'm going to land on that, but the other will be vice.
I mean, it's really this season in the Gaffr game. I mean, majority of the 4 points are with the template. And that's why it's really hard. None of the punts are working really that much, apart from the budget buster as one here and there. You get to see one of them, but apart from that, a lot of the points are with the template guys, and that's why it's really becoming hard and hard to climb up the ranks. So I think it's best to just assess your game plans, because a lot of fixtures are coming on, or doubles are coming on, and new sets of boosts will come on. So better to stay safe than to be adventurous right now.
Yeah, indeed. But we'll see if the banks and doubles cause any sort of divergence. So it would be interesting to see. But that is everything then for this episode. Any final words from you before we wrap this up?
Those who are playing the Gaffr Super League games, do check the players. We have put out a tweet on the players that are missing from the Gaffr Super League game. They will also be missing 4 to 5 game weeks, and quite a lot of important players that are there missing, from the likes of Hakimi, the likes of I think Kang In Lee, who are consistent performers for their players, for the clubs. They will be missing quite a lot of a few AC Milan guys, Sociedad guys. So better check out before you play the boosts, because a lot of games are coming thick and fast in the Super League games as well. A lot of doubles are coming up, so you kind of need to have a check on who are the players that are missing. So that's, I think, because we are not going to record a Super League episode anytime soon. I think we have a lot of championship ones to do first. So just take a note about that, and do watch the Super League tweets that we have put out on the players that are missing AFCON due to AFCON and Asia Cup.
I mean, I got caught out by AFCON. I did not think about AFCON, and I bought players that were going away, and now I have to take lots of hits in amongst all the blanks. So Super League's a right fun time. It's got even worse than we thought because of these Super Cups.
I think we have the lowest the minimum games played in a game week without playing the Underhaul. We just this week, only the Syria guys that we played, only the 5 players we picked.
Woo! 5 player
We have
game
got
week.
this.
Yay!
Yeah, I think we've got decent returns. I am
Yeah.
currently on a green arrow with 5 players only. So
AC
yeah, it
Milan
might work.
did well. So
Yeah, so it might work in the end, not playing Underhaul in Gaming 29. Yeah, but but the games in Super League were much more decent than the games that are currently in
yeah.
Championship. So yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay. Thank you everyone for watching and listening then, and yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see you all soon. Enjoy your January and your start to 2024, and everyone going back to work.
Yeah.
Woo. But
Yeah,
yeah,
a lot of things are coming quick and fast because the games are coming quick and fast. So
are they?
the cup, yeah.
Not anymore. They were over the Christmas period. Now there's like no games for apart from FA Cup, obviously. But
Yeah, I mean it's the start. The FA Cup has started, then the Premier League, then the League Cups, then the Champions
yeah,
League starts, then the AFCON and Asia Cup.
well,
So a lot of
true.
games.
Well, true.
Yeah, a
True.
lot of games to watch, a lot of games to come. So hopefully it will all coincide with the works as well. So yeah, hopefully we have a sound mind and a lot of people enjoyed the break.
Indeed.
Happy New Year once again to you guys. Have a safe and stay safe. And yeah,
Brilliant.
I think
And
that's it.
we'll see you all very soon then.
Yeah,
And I'm sure we will record in the next week or two. So
yeah.
yeah, goodbye from me.
And namaste from me.